A message to my ancestors. I may be breaking generational curses. I may be healing myself and thus healing my bloodline and my ancestry line. But that doesn't mean that my ancestors, that doesn't mean that you're in the clear. Because even though I am healing you too, by me healing, you're healing too, curses and whatnot are being lifted off the bloodline and ancestry line. That doesn't mean, ancestors, that you're in the clear. Because you still need to reincarnate and learn your lessons, overcome your trials and tribulations. You need to go through that shadow of the valley of death yourself. Even though you might be clear, your next lifetime you will still have to overcome trials and tribulations. Just because I've cleared my bloodline and ancestry line, that doesn't make you all exempt from trials and tribulations and learning your lessons. You're not exempt from that. So don't get ahead of yourselves and think that just because I'm breaking things off the bloodline and ancestry line that you won't have to experience any trials and tribulations. You're very wrong for thinking that, if you do think that. So I just want to let my ancestors know you're not in the clear. You still have to overcome all your trials and tribulations. And it's possible that you have to overcome the same trials and tribulations, the exact same trials and tribulations that you have that you have currently failed to overcome. So all these lifetimes that you've failed to overcome these trials and tribulations, you still have to go through them until you overcome them. So, because if you're a spiritual person and you want to grow spiritually and get closer to God, and you want your divine inheritance, you're going to have to overcome your trials and tribulations and not give up your own life to dump it on me. I'm sure God will call me back to earth at some point, but I don't want to be called back to more ancestral clearing work to do. I want to come back to this earth free from any other ancestral clearing, because I've done my part for myself and for my bloodline and ancestry line. I shouldn't have to experience the same trials and tribulations that I've already overcome. And hopefully that means I won't have to. Hopefully God will let me know that I don't have to overcome those trials and tribulations anymore, because I've already overcome them. But for my ancestors, you still have trials and tribulations to overcome. You still have lessons to learn in life. You're still at the same level, whether you're healed more so due to hexes and curses and whatnot being lifted from your being. Just because curses and whatnot have been lifted, you still have to overcome these trials and tribulations that caused all those curses and hexes to begin with. Because yes, people cast black magic over you, but at the same time, by you not overcoming your trials and tribulations, because you've given up every lifetime, you're basically cursing yourself and hexing yourself in that way, ancestrally. You're keeping those curses around by not healing, by not overcoming trials and tribulations. So you might be clear now, as of this lifetime until your next lifetime, but ancestors, you still have to overcome your trials and tribulations. That's the message from my ancestors, and to be honest, that can be the message for everyone else's ancestors. I mean, some people's ancestors, some people don't want to change. That's fine. That's up to them. You know, that's their decision. That's their choice. But for the people that do want to change and learn and grow and evolve, hopefully by this message to my ancestors, hopefully I'm inspiring other people's ancestors. So thank you. Thank you, ancestors, my ancestors. Thank you, all of you. And I hope that from here on that you try to overcome your trials and tribulations and just not give up on yourself. You know, don't give up on yourself, ancestors. Life isn't easy, but that doesn't mean you should give up. Don't give up on yourself. Hee-haw. You've got a lot to work with when it comes to being faced with all sorts of overwhelming attacks. I've got, you know, sort of brief past memory. I've got sort of brief past memories. Brief past memories of, what my ancestors have been through. You know, because things have been revealed to me. Like, I've seen, you know, some of what my ancestors have been through for each of them. And I know they go through so much like I have. But that doesn't mean you give up on yourself. You got to keep on going, no matter how overwhelming it is. If you truly care about your life, you're not going to give up. You're going to keep on fighting. You're going to keep on fighting for your survival. Just because in this age we have more than our ancestors did, that doesn't mean that you give up on yourself. I am the true King David. So even back in those biblical times, even when I had nothing as King David, I had everything. I had God and myself and nature. And the good people that actually came out to, you know, see me and, you know, support me and, have a yarn with me and have a smoke with me. You know, there were actually people that came out and, you know, saw me. They were pretty much a group of friends that I had. You know, you don't need much in life. God is all you need, plus, what you've got, basically. You know, like, yes, we can all be abundant, but what I'm trying to say is, no matter what you've got in life, you have everything. Because even when I was King David, I had everything. I had God, nature, good people. You know, obviously nature provides food. You know, I was eating, you know, I'm pretty sure I was eating, nuts and fruits and vegetables and like whatever I found. You know, like I wasn't eating meat. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I wasn't. Because I don't like hunting, really. I don't like hunting meat. That's just something, you know, that I don't really like to do. So I know that I was eating vegan. But like, I was able to overcome, some of my trials and tribulations in a lot of my past lifetimes where I had nothing, where the times were in the ancient past, you know, I was able to overcome trials and tribulations. I might not have been perfect, and no one does everything perfectly, you know what I mean? But I've come this far on my journey. I've come this far on my journey, and I've made it this far because no matter what I had in any given moment, I made do with what I had, and I adapted. I adapted to every situation as best I could. I know it's not and this can be a message to humanity too, because you can take a lot from this message. It's not easy to go through life when you're being attacked from all angles.